How far back does that go, Tom? And I know that might be a third rail subject, but Mike, our colleague Tom Pelissero, every single time this subject matter comes up, does point out to the red jacket moment that Vrabel had as the head coach of the Titans on a bye week, saying about how terrific it is in New England, and that did grease a skid or two for him to lose his job in Tennessee.
Right.
So how far back does this go with New England and Vrabel to lead to Mike being the 16th head coach of the Patriots and the first since Art Shell to win a Super Bowl with a team and then come back and coach it?
Yeah, it probably goes back to 2000, Rich. The Patriots signed him as a free agent. He came over from Pittsburgh, where he was buried behind the likes of LaVon Kirkland and those awesome linebackers they had. And he came here and flourished and showed himself to be one of the most tough, intelligent. Bill Belichick, I remember in 2002 saying, we look at every play for every player. Mike didn't make one mental mistake the entire year. And he just he raised a family here. So all of those things were, for Mike, I think, immense draws to come back. Now you look at this team and the way it's been since 2017, and we've talked about it ad infinitum on your show through those years. And when I talked about the creeping dysfunction and the way the team has, over the past 2 years, gone 8-26. And since starting 8-0 in 2019, their record is horrendous. It's not the same team. It's not the same level of unity. It's not the same all for one. It's not the same, if it ever was, Patriot way. Mike, I think, is swayed by believing it's still here or still dormant and he can resurrect it. So I think it goes back to just the affinity that you have for the people who were here, the area, the fan base, because the roster itself is not a persuasive draw.
So let's talk about first steps here. What's Vrabel bringing to the equation? Does he have front office sway, or is he just the HC and he handles the 53 on game day and the division of labor that the Crafts wanted to institute upon Belichick's departure is still in place? Is that the way it's going to work?
It's really ironic. It's really ironic, Rich. Remember, you certainly do, from ESPN, 1997, the early days when Bill Parcells had gone to the Jets because he couldn't take the Crafts asking him to please collaborate with other people and listen to your scouting department.
Shop for the groceries, as famous statement as it can be.
So Parcells leaves and the Crafts say, you know what? How about this? How about we not have one guy in charge of everything? All these other people we're paying, let's get them to work together and maybe have somebody a little bit nicer here. Pete, Carol, you want to work here? Yeah, you can be one point of the triangle. They did it for 3 years. The team went from a Super Bowl appearance to 8-8 and getting worse. They said, you know what? That didn't work so good. Let's bring in one guy with one vision, with a good group around him, including Scott Pioli. And the Patriots rose again with Bill. And as a result, by the end, Bill had collected so much power and sway that the Kraft said again, you know what? I love this. So now they've done it for 1 year. I think with Mike, he comes in very much the way Bill came in 2000. Bill wasn't given free rein in 2000 completely. It was him. It was Scott Pioli. It was a tremendous staff around him with Romeo Crennel and Charlie Weiss, but there were a lot of smart people in the personnel department. Elliot Wolf right now is the GM. I'm prattling on too long, but Elliot Wolf is the GM without title. And he was in charge of shopping for the groceries, along with his staff. They did a horrendous job. They didn't do well in the draft. They didn't do well in free agency. They miscalculated on what players could do. As Vrabel comes in, he's going to bring with him Ryan Cowden, who will soon agree, I believe, to a contract. It's reported that he's coming here. I don't think he has a contract yet signed, but once that gets executed, Elliot Wolf and Ryan Cowden, I believe, will be the 1A, 1B, but they don't want to have fights. Who has the final say? I believe if it gets to one of those things where you have three guys staring at each other and you have to go to and make a decision, Mike will say, let's do this. So that's where it will land. But again, all these collaborative front offices, whether it's McVay and Snead, the ones that do it best, they never get to a point. Eric DaCosta and John Harbaugh, they probably never get to a point where it's like two guys standing there with their arms crossed saying, it's going to be my way. Who's going to break the tie?
Right, because that's what seems like what it was over A.J. Brown with John Robinson and Vrabel in Tennessee, and now both of those guys are gone, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. He's now the new head coach of the New England Patriots, and is it any truth that he brings Josh McDaniels with him as the OC, Tom?
I felt as if McDaniels would be the front runner along with Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees has stayed in Cleveland as the OC. So that will leave McDaniels, who is local here. He and his family live, 20 minutes from the stadium still in this year off. I know that Josh has other opportunities that he's considering as this offseason goes along. And I'm sure that there's other organizations who would be interested in talking to him to be an OC for them. Because what he brings, while people maybe look at what he most recently did in Las Vegas, what he brings is a guy who, for instance, in 2018 morphed the Patriots offense from what it was in 16 and 17 when it was so brilliant to turning it into a meat and potatoes running game. He flipped it in 2020 to get 7 wins post Brady out of Cam Newton when Cam really couldn't throw overhand anymore. He morphed it again and shepherded Mac Jones to a season in which he was basically the offensive rookie of the year the entire year until Jamar Chase tracked him down. So he is very adept at doing different kinds of offenses. Now he would have a blue chip guy, a top 3 pick in Drake May, but a bad roster around it. So you have to be able to have somebody who's experienced who can craft something. So Josh, to me, makes the most sense. We should find out in fairly short order whether or not he will officially be the guy.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.